Hello dear student, this is Dr. Aisha Nazuk here. Today we are going to watch our third video on Introduction to Econometrics. Those of you who have just joined this learning session or this playlist, it's highly advisable that if you want to build your basic concepts of regression, then watch the video number 1 and 2 in this playlist. Today's video is focused on the plotting of two variables in Microsoft Excel. We'll be using the data from Gujarati and Porter Econometrics book, 5th edition. This book is easily downloadable from the Genesis library. So if you still don't know about the Genesis library, it's requested that you go and watch my video on how to download book from the Genesis library, and then you'll be able to download this useful book on econometrics from that library. So the practice activities that we are going to do today are from the chapter 2 of this book. If you want me to email you the data set that we'll be using for today's video, you can write me an email or either on my personal email ID, that's ashcash1983@gmail.com, or my official email ID. So let me show you the questions on plotting two random variables in Microsoft Excel. So the first question is from chapter exercises 2.14. You're given the data in table 2.7. I'll shortly show you this table in Microsoft Excel. So let me show you the data. This is table 2.7. So before having a look at the problem or the question statement, let's see that there are different variables given here. For example, the first variable, CLFPRM, is civilian labor force participation rate for male in percentage. Then similarly we have other variables here. So the question is relevant to, we have to plot the male civilian labor force participation rate against male civilian unemployment rate. And then we'll see the next part of the question is, first we have to plot and then eyeball a regression line through the scatter points. That is, we'll be adding a trend line on the scatter plot. Then the third part of the question is, a priori, what is the expected relationship between the two variables and what is the underlying economic theory? Does the scatter diagram support the theory? So if you are not a student of economics, then maybe you won't be able to efficiently relate to the example, or maybe if you can, with the passage of time, once you watch the video, it's fairly possible that you get yourself acquainted with the relevant theory or the concept of economics that is being discussed here. For those who are already a student of economics, I expect that you will be able to relate with the explanation very quickly. So we have to plot male civilian labor force participation rate versus male civilian unemployment rate. So going back to the data file, you see we have to plot CLFPRM versus UNRM. So what I have done is, for your convenience, I have copied these two columns, the CLFPRM and UNRM, in a separate sheet. This is the sheet here, UNRM and CLFPRM. So actually the convention is that the variable that you want to put on the x-axis should be copied first in order, and the y variable in the second column. So I'll go to insert and then I'll click on the scatter plot. We have different type of options here. I'll choose this one which actually just show the points of the scatter plot rather than joining these points. For example, if I choose the second type, it's going to join the points. So in the context of linear regression, this is the most widely used scatter plot, in which the scatter or the pairs are shown as it in their original location. So I click here, and you can see by confirming at the data selection range that the full data that's available here, it's selected here. By the way, if you want to sometime change the data which you want, for example, if you want to make a plot for first few observations, then you can always use this option of select by right clicking on the chart first and then clicking on select data, and you can modify the data range as well. For now the data range is correct. One thing that the heading is a little bit misleading, so we can always edit it. So I'll write CLFPRM versus UNRM. So this is a scatter plot now. I can add a trend line, so I click on this plus button and then I click on trend line. So now you see that this shows that there is an upward sloping line. So the scatter plot says that there is a positive relationship between these two variables. Now if I look at the other options, I can add the axis title as well. For example, if I click on axis title, now you see that there are two boxes here. If I click on axis title, two additional boxes appear in the chart where I can type. For example, if I click on axis title, now I can type here whatever I want to type for it. So this is actually the Y variable, which is CLFPRM. So I can type here either the abbreviation CLF, CLFPRM, or I can even type the full form, which is the civilian labor force participation rate for males in percentage. So it's up to you, whatever you want to type here. Then here on the x-axis I can type, this is UNRM, UNRM, yeah. So that's how you can also add the axis title. If you click again here, there is an option of adding data label as well. If you click on data label, you can see that there's some numeric figures, they start appearing on the scatter plot. So sometimes that's not visually quite appealing, so maybe we should not pick this data label option and leave the plot as it. So coming back to the question, so you had to plot, exactly that's what I have done. I have copied that plot here. Now the question was, first of all, comment on this regression line. So the regression line says that there is a increasing relationship between the civilian labor force participation rate and the male unemployment rate. Now apparently this relationship might seem a little bit surprising to you, or you may not be expecting that these two variables are negatively related. But if you explore the concept of the added worker hypothesis in labor economics, which suggests that when unemployment increases, there is a tendency for the secondary labor force to enter the labor market. Just understand it this way, that if the unemployment is increasing, there is an additional pressure on the family and a particular member of the family which was earlier on not looking for job. Now he or she starts looking for job. And those of you who know about labor economics, you know that a person who is looking for job or is in search of job is counted in the labor force. So the added worker hypothesis suggests that when unemployment increases, the secondary labor force might enter the labor market to maintain some level of family income. So by respecting the added worker hypothesis, it seems that this hypothesis is being, you can say, portrayed by this scatter plot, and there is a positive relationship between these two random variables. So next we have another example of the same scatter plot using different variables. Now in part B of the question, the statement is that we have to repeat part A, but this time we are going to draw the plot for female. So let me recall, in part A we had to plot civilian labor force participation rate. So this time we are going to plot for female. Then we have to plot it against female civilian unemployment rate. So we have to plot this. Let me show the Excel file here. CLF, let me show the variable descriptions here for your convenience. CLFPRF is the civilian labor force participation rate for females, and UNRF is civilian unemployment rate for females. So we have to plot these two variables. So as I said that whatever the variable you want on x-axis, that should be in Excel at the first place. So you see that I've already made this plot, but for your convenience I'll show how to plot this again. So on the x-axis we have female civilian labor force participation rate, because in the Excel you can see this is the first variable, and the one on the second, that the UNRF, is on the y-axis here. So let me draw the plot again, although it's already drawn here, but just for your visual understanding, let me choose the series, and then I click on insert and scatter, and I pick this option. You can see that the same plot is being drawn here. It's just that I have to do a little bit of editing, which I just told a little bit earlier, that I can click on this text and I can type complete. For example, this is UNRF versus CLF PRF, yeah. So this is the plot. I can add the trend line by clicking on the plus sign, and then I click on trend line. I can add the axis title, and then I can enter the text here that I've already typed here, so you can type once you repeat this activity on your own. So coming back, we have plotted. Now you can see that there is a decreasing relationship between female labor force participation rate and female unemployment rate. So now what is the you can say explanation? This time we are analyzing the relationship between labor force participation and unemployment rate, but this time the gender at hand is for the female. So the discouraged worker hypothesis of labor economics, this seems to be at work, which means that unemployment is decreasing. Even then, lesser female workers are participating. You see, there's an inverse relationship, which means that if one variable decreases, the other one increases. That's why it's saying that even you can see that the unemployment rate is decreasing. Even then, lesser female workers are participating, right? That is, the female unemployment rate is still increasing, right? I repeat that the female unemployment is decreasing, still the female unemployment rate is increasing. Pardon if I you know, a little bit of inaccurate in this description. Let me repeat this. The discouraged worker hypothesis of labor economics, this is saying that the female unemployment rate is decreasing, right? But then, even then, lesser female workers are participating, which means that they are fearing that there are no job opportunities. Because why actually we are discussing that one variable is increasing and the other is decreasing? Because the line is downward sloping, which suggests, if let me I zoom the display here, if this line is decreasing, it means if the female labor force, if I read the axis, the female civilian unemployment rate, suppose that the female civilian unemployment rate increases, right? The unemployment rate increasing. Then according to this plot, the female civilian labor force participation rate will decrease. Why? Because of an increase in unemployment, females think that even if they go and look for job, they won't get it, maybe, and then you can say that they are discouraged and they are no longer looking for job, and that is why we can say that the discouraged worker hypothesis of labor economics seems to be at work. Okay. Continuing further, let's compare the two variables. Let me show the statements once again relevant to this particular display of information on your screen. Okay, so the part C of this question is asking that we have to plot labor force participation rate of male against their hourly wage rate, and then repeat this activity for female, and then we have to comment and compare the nature of relationship. So both these variables, as I said, they are available in table 2.7. There are a couple of other variables. You can see that the average hourly earning for the average hourly earning are given here, HE 82. So actually the statement of the question, let me show. We have to plot male and female labor force participation against AH82. So coming back, we have to plot against this AHE82. Okay, so we have to plot the male labor force participation rate and the female labor force participation rate against the hourly wages. So coming back to the display. Okay, so we have the Excel file. Now I'm not going to draw these again, because I've thoroughly taught you how to make this scatter plot, and as I said that I can email the data to you, so you can repeat the activity which is. So let's learn this with an angle of how to interpret if we have drawn the plot in Excel. So if you have a look at the first plot, which is male labor force participation rate versus the hourly wage rate for males, there appear to be a downward or a decreasing relationship between the two variables, right? So let's see if we compare with the females. You can see that this line is sort of more, you could say, you can say that this line is sort of more of a straight line, that this is downward sloping, whereas the slope of this line is, you can say, much lesser, because this is more of, you could say, much parallel or closer to the x-axis, right? So it seems, first of all, irrespective of the downward or upward, first of all, if I see the strength of relationship between the two variables, you see the male labor force participation rate seems to be more related with the wage rate for male, whereas you can see that this line is less explained, you can say, by the variation in female labor force participation against the hourly wages. It seems that the determinants of female labor force participation are different from just the hourly wage, because changes in wages are not significantly impacting the female labor force participation, because you see this is decreasing, the one variable keep on decreasing here, right? But the other variable does not seem to agree or to suggest that it is moving in the same direction. So if you compare these two plots, you can say that there is a similar relationship between the two variables for males and female, although the male labor force participation is always significantly higher than that of female. This you can always see the axis, and you can confirm from these axes that in general the male labor force participation is relatively or generally speaking higher. We are not talking about the few outliers in the female scatter plot, but generally speaking the dots here in the male panel or the male plot, they are much higher. So male labor force participation rate is higher as compared to the female labor force participation rate. Then, as I said, that this line or the slope of this line seems to be much lesser, right, as compared to this panel in the or this plot in the upper panel. So the determinants of female labor force participation, they seem to be different than just the wage rate, right? Then a third observation is, if you compare the two plots, then there is a lot of variation or variability in the rates of female labor force participation. Okay, so next we have this another example. This is in reference to exercise 2.15 of chapter 2. It discusses the data in table 2.8. So first of all, as I said, that in Excel file I have all the data for all the tables here. So this is table 2.8. Coming back here, we have the observation number, total expenditure of a family, and food expenditure. So as I said, I can email this data to you if you want. Coming back to the question. Okay, so the question says that table 2.8 gives data on expenditure on food and total expenditure, and we have to plot the data using the y-axis or the vertical axis for expenditure on food and the horizontal axis or the x-axis for total expenditure, and sketch a regression line through the scatter plot. So I've just taught you how to make a scatter plot in Excel. So you can use this data and you can make this plot easily, and that's what I have done and pasted here in this slide. So I've added a trend line as well. So it seems that there is a positive relationship between total expenditure and food expenditure, which means that if one of the two increases, for example, if total expenditure increases, then there is an increase in food expenditure. But you can see that this shows an increasing relationship. But if you can see that after when the total expenditure crosses the level 600, if you see this 600, so after 600 we have a lot of variation, which means that if the total expenditure of some families exceeds 600, and then some such families are increasing their relationship, increasing their expenditure in food, while other such families are decreasing their expenditure on food, and so on. That means that for example, let me show a detailed description. We would expect that there is a positive and linear relationship between the two variables, but we can't expect that this linear relationship always going to increase forever, because you know that there is a certain limit on the total food expenditure. It's just easy to understand. Let's imagine that there are two families. One family is relatively, let's say, a poor family, and another family which is, you can say, belong to the posh or the upper class or the rich group. So if in a poor family the expenditure increases, their marginal propensity to increase their expenditure on food will be higher as compared to a rich family. If their total expenditure increases by, let's say, 1 unit, then it's highly likely that that increase may not be due to a increase, or you can say due to the increase in food expenditure. It's fairly possible that a rich family may be consuming on luxury goods and other items. So once basic needs are satisfied, people will spend relatively less on food as their income increases, right? That till a certain level of income, when income increases, there is a tendency to increase food expenditure. But after a certain level of or a certain threshold of income, if you cross that income level, as we saw here in the plot, that if we cross the 600 income level, then the relationship tend to be, before 600 this seems to be linearly increasing. After 600, you can say that it's not strictly linear. It's a mix of points. Some are above the linear line, while other are towards the downside or the lower panel of the linear line. So the variation after a specific level of total expenditure is high, so there might be more chance of a weak proxy. In other words, if we just keep these things simple, it says that before a particular threshold level of income, we would expect that an increase in income or total expenditure will be accompanied by an increase in expenditure on food. But after a certain threshold level, if your income start exceeding that particular point, then you may not be prone to increasing your food expenditure. Maybe you going to use the increased income somewhere else, maybe purchasing a luxury car, or maybe saving more. So the food expenditure will not be increasing in a similar pattern. Okay, so next we discuss this exercise 2.16. Now this exercise talks about table 2.9, which gives data on mean SAT scores for college bound seniors for some years, and the data represent the critical reading and mathematics test score for both male and female students. The data is on writing part is not included. We just have data on reading and mathematics. So the part A is we have to plot, use the horizontal axis for years and the vertical axis for SAT scores to plot the critical reading and math score for males and female separately. So you can see that this plot I have drawn in Excel, and what's different about this plot is you can see that the two series are shown here against the different years, and the both series, that is the male series and the female series, they are both on the same plot. So just one thing is different in this scatter plot, that we need to learn how to show two series against time period, or two or more series on the same plot. So let's learn that in Excel. Okay, so this is the table 2.9 sheet that we were discussing, and we have data for critical reading for male as well as for female. We also have data on mathematics for both male and female. So what I have done is I have copied the year column from here to here just for my convenience, and then I have copied the male critical reading scores from this column here. Similarly, female critical reading column from here. So I'm going to select this whole range so that both of these series, that is for the male and female against this year, will be shown on the same plot. So I have selected, I'll click on insert, go on the chart option, and this time maybe I can choose this type of scatter plot with straight line. So you see that when I have done this, the chart shows no series title. Let me see. You see the series 1 and series 2. So what's the reason? Because I have not selected the series title here. So let me delete this and draw once again. This time I am going to choose the headings as well, the axis heading as well, so that I'll have these axes in the scatter plot. So I'll again go to insert, scatter plot, and this line, and now you see that the series, they are labeled as well, that the blue line is for male critical reading, whereas this orange line is for female critical reading. So this is exactly what is being drawn here. Let me show you. Yes, so this is the part A which we were discussing, that we have to plot the critical reading for the two gender, and here is the series. You can see that the overall score for the male in critical reading part, this remains to be generally higher than for the females. Right now we are not commenting about the relationship between gender and score, but I'm just commenting upon what's being displayed by this plot, that overall it seems that the males are overall in critical reading aspect outperforming their female counterparts. Okay, so in part B, this is again saying that we remember that in part A we had to plot critical reading as well as math score. So this one was about reading, so I have repeated the same activity for math score. As you can see in the that we have math scores for male and female as well. So we similarly, as we draw for the reading part, we can easily draw for the maths part as well. So this is what this plot shows the math scores for male and female. Okay, so coming back to the question, what general conclusion do you draw? We have already discussed that the general conclusion is that if I talk about the reading aspect, the male ones, they are performing better than the female. If I again talk about the math score, this data shows that the variation in the male and female score, that is pretty much similar, but the male are outperforming, or that is they are scoring higher as compared to the females. So this was the general comment on this plot. If you look at the part C, knowing the critical reading scores of males and females, how would you go about predicting their math score? Now you see in part C, this is sort of saying or hinting toward exploring the relationship between critical reading score with their math score. So what you have to do, you will plot, actually you will do this activity separately for male and separately for females. You are going to plot critical reading scores of males with their math scores of male, and you will see whether there is any relationship between these two, so that whether these two, for example, if they are strongly related, can you predict that those who score higher in critical reading, do they score higher on the math part as well? So if I go back to the slide, so what this part says, for example, if I talk about critical reading score of male and then critical math score of male, so actually we have to plot these two columns. So let me copy this one here. Yeah, so I'm copying here. Just a second, a little bit of delay, sorry for that. So I'm going to copy these values and I will paste here. So this is critical reading. I'll simply write reading, and now I will type math score for male, and I'll pick the math score for male data from here and copy these values and paste here. I'll simply use Control V. So now what I'm going to do is I can type in bracket here male R, so that will just help me understand this is male reading, this is male M. Male M means this is math score of a male. Okay, so what happened is when I typed R, it has converted it to a symbol. So I'll retype this and press enter. Okay, so now I'm going to choose these two, male reading and male math score, these two series, and I'll go to insert and enter a scatter plot here using these lines. So now what has happened, that we have seen, by the way, if we were to explore the relationship between two variables, instead of these solid lines, maybe we should have chosen this type, yes, this type, and we could add the trend line from here. So you can see that there doesn't appear to be any strong relationship between the reading score and mathematics score, because you can see that the slope of this line is not much determined by the movements in these points. In other words, these are not moving strictly in a linear pattern. So the score in mathematics are not helping me predict much the score in the reading element, and this is for male. Similarly, you can repeat this activity for females as well. Now, continuing with this example, part D says that we have to plot the female math scores against the male math scores, and what do you observe? So I leave it to you to use the data that I've just mentioned in the Excel file, and I can provide you this data set, and you can do this activity, and based on the things that you have learned so far from this video, you can explore what type of relationship is displayed by that scatter plot.